everybody. This is Skeet.
Mushin Mikey.
Rock and Roll Roundtable.
Yeah, absolutely. Presented by our good friends over at Moshman Media.
This week, cross genres.
Cross genres. Yes, because people go out and we talked about people that had success in more than one band. We talked about that a little bit. When you go into that rabbit hole, you also go into people that cross over genres and still have success. And it's kind of like I wore my outfit specific for today. You got a symphonic death metal band shirt, and I'm wearing a John Deere hat. It's like if you went from country to singing death metal. That's kind of extreme. That's the extreme, but it really does happen more than you want to think. Now, not always in the heavier music does it happen, but there's some in the heavier music, and we'll hit on them. I guess the mother of all these to me, even though she's nowhere near our style of music, has got to be Taylor Swift. I mean, she goes from a country girl, sweet little innocent country girl, and it's like doing okay, but then she crosses over into pop and blows up, like out of this world blows up. And she's just one of them in that genre. You got Katy Perry went from gospel to singing, pop. You had Post Malone. That guy does it all. He's went from pop to doing a Nirvana 2-hour Nirvana set to doing country to going back and doing another Nirvana set with the guys in Nirvana at the LA fire benefit. And then he's still doing his pop music all in the mix. So he's successful everywhere he goes. You got guys like in that same vein, you got Jelly Roll. Love him or hate him. He was a rapper first who went into this soulful like singing thing, then went into country, and he's never looked back. Now he's doing country. He did a song with Ronnie Radke and Falling in Reverse. So they just expand around. Now, Beyonce is probably the biggest one lately. Here she is in Destiny's Child to solo R&B dance that puts out a country album that wins country album of the fucking year, which we know it's a travesty. It really is. It's not. I've heard some songs on it. I'm not the hugest country guy, but I admire some of the country people. It sure should not have been country album of the year, but it's still the tour is now the highest grossing country tour ever because it's Beyonce.
Yeah.
And she can transcend genres.
Okay, so probably the biggest one that I can think of back a few years back was Shania. Shania
Yeah,
Twain
she
was
had success.
was country all the fucking way, and she slipped over into the pop rock genre.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like it was no big deal because she was, she had the talent, she had the backing. I mean, so
Yeah.
who else down the line has pulled that?
Oh, but yeah, it's like sometimes they do it in spurts. Like Carrie Underwood is a big country phenomenon, but she's a secret metalhead. She did a cover of Paradise City or Welcome to the Jungle, one of those, by Guns N' Roses on stage. She's done a song with Papa Roach and sang that with them on stage. So she has that ability to go back and forth. Lady Gaga's done it. I don't know how many times. And with she sang with Metallica at the big thing. She's a pop singer, but she sings rock too. She can do a shit with Tony Bennett for God's sakes. the crooning, and still hit on that. I mean, she's an incredible example. Even guys I can't stand, like Machine Gun Kelly, he goes from being this rap guy he got annihilated by Eminem, and that's why I think he slunk like a snake out of the rap world. But then he goes into pop punk, and people love this motherfucker. They love him. And now he's doing like pure pop in some points and covering Linkin Park badly and stuff like that. But he's still a huge success at it. It doesn't matter. Some of these guys, it's their personality, their persona. They can do whatever the hell they want. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Well,
But if
Kid
we're getting
Rock,
into
Kid Rock,
who, yeah,
Kid
yeah,
Rock.
exactly. Kid Rock is on my list somewhere on this list I have, and it's like I'll go with the more little bit of obscure ones here. But do you remember way back in the '80s, Michael Bolton being a rock singer? He had a
I
song called he had a song called "Fool's Game" that played on MTV pretty hard, and it was rock. It was like a Survivor era kind of sort of. It wasn't a bad song. He goes from that, it's like a mediocre rock career, to singing these heartbreaking, sappy ass songs. And he's huge. He goes through the roof. That's just one example. Uh, Belinda Carlisle, you're a big Go Go's fan, right?
yes,
So Belinda Carlisle started out as a drummer in a regular old punk band. Then she goes to the Go Go, switches to singing, which is still okay. It's punk, but it's pop. It's pop punk. It's coming out of the punk world, going into pop punk. Then she goes straight solo top 40 and could do it all. Did it all. Uh, Gwen Stefani, for God's sake. Gwen Stefani was in No Doubt. I liked No Doubt. I love Tragic Kingdom. That album is phenomenal. It was ska.
yeah.
She goes from ska to Bananas or whatever the hell that shit was, the pop hit music. But then she turns around and sings a country duet with her husband, Blake Shelton. It's gold. It doesn't matter anything they do. So I want to get into the heavier music. I mean, I've been kind of going around with the pop people, and it goes for everybody. One that you probably don't really listen to, but I know my kids really loved, was "Bring Me the Horizon." Okay, way back in the early days of Bring Me the Horizon, they were death metal. They were deathcore, the girl growling and everything else. Now they're like the darlings of metalcore. They switched to metalcore from death metal, and they were huge. They went huge. They were good in deathcore. They were big following. They switched genres to go metalcore, and through the roof. So, and they're not the only ones, of course, in the heavier stuff, but Journey, for just take Journey. We've talked a lot about Journey. Do you know if you listen to the first couple albums, like I did one time, very blues based, guitar influenced. Then, about they got Steve Perry in the band and they started going more rock. Then they went ballad. So they went from like a blues to a hard rock to a pop rock, which is where they're at. They've never, they've only gotten more popular until, I think the ballads got wore out on them, but they switched still. Let's go to some bigger ones. Oh, here's a good one for you. Aaron Lewis.
Yep, yep.
So, I mean, he goes from Stained, which is not light music, it's heavy enough. It's like new metal, I guess you would say, kind of sort of, to this just him and the guitar singing country stuff. Had no problem. He's successful in both of them. Kid Rock, you already mentioned, kind of the same vein.
Well, I
Here's
mean
one that,
the whole new metal is already kind of a cross genre anyways. because
True.
they were all doing the Aerosmith, Run DMC, uh,
Yes.
Anthrax, Public Enemy crossover type stuff,
Yeah.
to where they were
Yeah.
dipping into rap. So I mean that kind of opened the door for new metal, which was a whole genre on itself that was a cross genre to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, new metal was rap rock.
Yeah,
It's what they called it when it first came out, the
yeah,
Corns and Limp Bizkits and stuff of the world. So Staines kind of they were on the outer edge of that, but I guess just the difference was harder rock to country, but that seems almost to me that seems the closest transition. You can
yeah,
go from country to pop very easily, and from hard rock to country kind of easy. But then you get like, well, even in the metal genres, you've had bands that were somewhat successful, and then they switched their genre in the metal world, like Bring Me the Horizon did.
yeah,
But Pantera did it.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they started as a glam band
yeah,
back when hair metal was all the rage. They didn't quite get to the level they wanted to, so what they do? The exact opposite. They start wearing the grungy clothes and not wearing makeup anymore, and playing nasty, thrash infused sludge metal kind of. And they went ballistic, and they had more success doing that. Darius Rucker's a good one.
yeah.
I mean, you go from Hootie. Hootie was not a hard rock band,
No,
but very successful as a pop rock top 40 kind of band. Then he goes to country, and it's stays the same or goes up even maybe. More
yeah.
people know him probably as Darius Rucker than they do as Hootie. I mean,
No,
that's
it's
he
that's
wasn't
crazy. That's
he
crazy to me.
wasn't. I know, but he wasn't Hootie. But because he has to say that a lot. My name was not Hootie, and the band wasn't the Blowfish. That was just a name. But anyway, yeah, he's had crazy kind of Grand Ole Opry success in the country level. I mean, they were South Carolina, but still, they were playing rock music. Think all the way back in the Wayback Machine to guys like Bob Dylan. Think about all the flack he took from switching from acoustic, this folksy acoustic guy, to wanting to do rock music with an electric guitar. He took shit for that.
Hard, real
And,
hard.
but he,
Yes.
yeah, but he was a folk hero, and he ended up being a rock legend too. So it's like that's a minuscule move, but it's still a move because going from folk to electrification is kind of a big deal for people that listen to folk music exclusively.
Yeah.
It was a shot. It took a chance. Now, here's one Beastie Boys. Now, I did not know this, and
Okay.
maybe
I
I'm
may not
embarrassed.
know this. I may not know
Yeah,
this. Go ahead.
they were a they were a hardcore punk band first. They played punk rock. Maybe not
Really?
hardcore, but they definitely played punk rock, and then switched to the rap later.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like I mean they had more success by a mile in the rap world, but they have had to have done something in punk rock. So yeah, that might be an interesting thing to look up. I was surprised to see that. I really was. But yeah, they were punk. They went the opposite way. A lot of people go from rap to something else, like Jelly Roll and Kid Rock. And
Yeah.
no, these guys were punk to rap. That's kind of a different kind of thing. Here's some oldies that I didn't know about. And I did. I guess I knew about it, but I didn't think about it. They called David Bowie a crossover. Now, I don't know. I don't know what you call what he did in the 60s. I really don't. I really don't even know what you call that. It's like just rock to
Glam.
me. Yeah,
It
kind of
started out
glamish.
as glam, didn't it?
Yeah, he went from that kind of music to that. And then he goes to reinvent himself in the 80s with the pop, pure pop. He wasn't even rock anymore. I don't really. They had him listed on this list of crossover people. I didn't agree with it. Maybe I thought maybe you would agree or disagree, but I don't agree with him being a crossover genre. I think it's
Uh,
all that one big kind of.
well, early Bowie was rock. It was just he was different.
Yeah, kind of experimental, maybe you could call it, with the
So
Major Tom and
yeah,
stuff.
the Ziggy Stardust was it was kind of it was along the lines of Elton John. So Elton John was really rock when he started out, piano
Oh
with a
yeah,
piano. So
yep,
for me, I love early Elton John, and he always he wasn't hard rock by any means, but he was rock when he
yeah,
started
oh
out.
yeah,
That was it was very rock and roll that he did, and later in his career is when he kind of started doing the journey thing. Okay, I'm going to do some more ballads, and I mean he still wrote with Bernie all them years, so he's still working with the same guy that they're writing the songs.
yeah, yeah,
But they went down the journey route, is what I'm going to call it, where he started doing ballads and had even more success in his later years to become the icon that he is now. But
yeah, yeah,
early Elton John and early David Bowie, and then they go into that reinvention of themselves in the 80s, like you said, in the 80s.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
So,
Elton John went from Crocodile Rock and Philadelphia Freedom and all
yeah,
that.
but
Yeah,
he still kind of brought that I'm still standing.
yeah, that was pop. Yeah, that was definitely
That
pop.
is
But it
pop,
was,
but still had that rock element to it.
yeah, yeah,
So, I guess when you're so big, and Bowie was big in the fucking 70s. He was huge,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, big
but
time.
he was rock with the glam element. And then in the 80s he did that boom, that redefinition of himself into the 80s star that he was. He changed his
Yeah, he went.
look, all that shit.
Yeah, he went to wearing a suit and doing the China Girl
Oh
and
my god,
lip
David Bowie
dance.
from the fucking 80s is its own fucking thing. So, you know,
Yeah,
is it
yeah. And
is it a cross
I class.
genre?
No, yeah, I think it's redefinition within the genre, maybe.
Yes.
So I still consider that kind of crossing over because the music's not the same. Kind of like Pantera, they still played metal, but they went from soft, hooky, melodic stuff to nasty, faster, just yelling and more yelling with Anselmo than the singer they had with Glaze back then. So yeah, I think it's up for debate, but I think it's good enough for cross. I would say, yeah, probably so.
Okay.
Now, one of my heroes of the '70s that I got to later because they started out as a blues band exclusively was Fleetwood Mac. Now, Fleetwood Mac had a male singer to start. And he ended up doing his solo career in the '70s. I remember it, Bob Welch.
Okay.
So they switched that up and bring Stevie Nicks in, and the whole dynamic of the band changed. They went from being like a blues band to just a rock band. I don't even consider them pop rock. I think they're rock. Some of the stuff they got was pretty nasty, and so they moved to that. And then Stevie Nicks, of course, and Lindsey Buckingham, that whole combination, and stuff they did later. But they definitely went from. I didn't know they were more of a blues. I thought they were just had a man singer. If you listen to Fleetwood Mac prior to Stevie, you'll hear it. And
Yeah.
I finally I did go do that, and I was like, yeah, that's different. Kind of like Journey's first couple albums.
Yeah.
So that worked out there. Now some of these were Tic Tac for me, and I guess the one that really caught my eye was Genesis. because they went from prog, definitely prog rock in the 70s, to Susu Studio and Land of Confusion and all that stuff,
Well,
kind of stuff.
Susudio was that was his solo shit.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get them mixed up.
That was yeah. So that one don't count, but
No,
Land
but
of Confusion and the '80s stuff, that was more pop rock Genesis.
yeah, yeah, it was definitely not prog rock anymore.
No, no,
If you listen to the Peter Gabriel era
yes,
Genesis, it's definitely much different than that Genesis is. Now, another one that did that kind of same thing, they went from what they called them, I think they probably called them experimental, and then they went to alternative, maybe progressive to alternative would be Pink Floyd. Because if you listen to the early Pink Floyd, that's the most famous, really. I mean, Roger Waters, Sid Barrett, Roger Waters era, it's more experimental sounding. It's got all that stuff going on. You listen to like the Division Bell with David Gilmour and them, they're just a rock band at that point, more like an alternative rock band, not so much psychedelic or progressive.
yeah,
So they did switch somewhat. Some people will call that progression of your career too. And they might not be wrong. They absolutely might not be wrong. But if we're classifying genres into subgenres into this, they transcend those. I consider that crossing genres, whether it's slight or like MGK where we went full hardcore rap to hi, how you doing, pop punk. That's a drastic change. Aaron Lewis was a drastic change.
yes,
Yeah, some of these guys are drastic, some are not as drastic. They even threw Jethro Tull in as being, going from kind of progressive like King Crimson and all that to just a different rock, hard rock. Even, well, we all know Jethro Tull got classified somehow as metal. The one year they won the award for best metal performance.
yeah. That was a
Uh,
hard pill to swallow.
yeah, yeah, it was a hard one for them to swallow, and I think it was a hard one for us as fans to actually accept
Yeah,
because I didn't hear that any kind of resemblance of a metal at all. I didn't hear any of it. Now, you can have a bunch of one-offs, but I don't know how many people actually switch genres and stay there. Because like we've been talking about, people doing collabs with each other. Kenny Rogers, for God's sakes, he started out in rock, and he ended up going full blown country. He was rock back in the day, and but he went on to do multiple duets with people, and I think Kenny was multi talented like that. He could get away with it. Elvis Presley would be another one if you really wanted to get down to the dirt about it, because he was a gospel singer kind of thing to a country kind of singer. Like "That's All Right, Mama" was not a rock song. It wasn't, and then he got into the Hound Dogs and the Jailhouse Rock. But then he would put out albums of "How Great Thou Art" and all. So he was a gospel. He hit on the gospel. He hit in the rock. And if he put out country sounding things, he hit on that. So it's like he was a can't miss kind of guy. Michael Jackson, I mean, I don't even know if you could really say it, but look at some of the Beat It, the guitar solo in Beat It. It had to be classified as a almost a rock collaboration on that. It was still dance music, sure, but when you have that kind of an epic solo in it,
well, okay. So
you and Eddie Van Halen going in to do a Michael Jackson song.
so take take Off the Wall and compare it to Thriller.
Yeah, yeah,
So there is a night and day, and even the Jackson Five was more of a poppy rock,
Yeah, they were like a doo-woppy.
on par with the fucking Osmonds.
Yeah, yeah, that's another one because the Osmonds did that one song that was like crazy. I can't remember the name of it, Crazy Horses or something like that. That it was a rock song, and I had a guy that does a review, does a thing out of his record shop, played that once, and then he turned it, slowed it down, and played it as a slower speed. Man, it ripped. I'm like, the Osmonds, really? They had that in them, you know?
Well,
And it's like,
so that's what I'm saying. So you look at that era in the fucking 70s where you had the Osmonds and you had the Jackson Five, which was
yeah,
more, it was pop, but it still had the rock element. I mean, everybody played the Jackson Five. They played instruments.
yeah,
So, you know what I'm saying? So Michael went from that to, you know, the early 80s and establishing himself as a solo artist and doing Off the Wall, which was more dance and disco type stuff, and then kicks it around to Thriller, and then after Thriller, you know, the Bad album, he has
yeah,
Steve Stevens,
yeah,
Dirty
yeah.
Diana. I mean, you know, so he was able to do the
Incorporate.
cross genre stuff
Yeah,
with,
and there's a bunch of one-offs, you know, even into that point, like Dolly Parton put out a rock album.
yeah,
You know, like I talked about Beyonce already. You had Pat Boone, I remember putting out a rock album back in the day.
yeah,
And Pat Boone was like Mr.
metal. He put out a metal album.
Yeah, yeah, metal album. Yeah. And even a guy I really like, I found him at the country concert was Hardy. Hardy he's already a country superstar. I mean, he sold out. He was the headlining guy at country concert, which we know around here is kind of a big deal. On Saturday night, headliner is like Blake Shelton's and Garth Brooks's of the world.
Yeah,
And so if you get to that level, you're doing pretty good for yourself. And he put out a total rock album. The actual day before I saw him for the first time, he released a rock album. He wanted to put out a rock album, and that's what he did. And I mean, it's great. I love the album. A lot of people think I'm crazy. I love that album. And I think people that were in country were ready to kill him because they wanted their Hickbilly Hardy back. They didn't want to see Hardy. And it's like he didn't give a shit. He's like, I want to play hard rock for one. I just want to do it for one, just to see. I think it was great, and it wasn't a dud or nothing. But yeah, I mean, he's one of them guys that can get away with doing that, and more power to him. If it's and we've been around people that switch genres a little bit. I know I went to we had a party at my campground a few years ago now. We opened for a guy in the band. His name was Aaron, and he was on tour 2 years before that. Was on tour with a metalcore band all over the country, playing with them, and then he's playing straight up George Jones, Conway Twitty type country because he said he felt it. You know, he felt that he'd get off stage playing that hardcore stuff and want to listen to George Strait because he was wanting to explore different genres. He loved them both. So he said, "Oh, I'm going to do the country thing." And maybe you're not successful when you do it every time. A lot of people probably tried stuff and failed miserably. Maybe that's why we don't know about some of them. But hey, if I was a star in my own right, and somebody said, "Hey, you know what? We ought to play what we wanted to. We listened to as kids and stuff." It'd be like being in like a deathcore band where all you're doing is growling, and you say, "I want to sing some yacht rock. I
yeah,
want to go back to my childhood, sing some Bee Gees kind of shit,
yeah.
and be able to do it." Hey, more power to them. Not everything's successful, but a lot of these are. I mean, God, look at the list. Some of them got more successful post switching genres. God knows what Post Malone's going to do. The country people love this guy, and he's never said, "Hey, I'm not going back to this." He just said, "I'll do whatever I want." What a luxury that would be
Yeah,
as a musician.
yeah,
Just man, I can cross over anywhere I go. He's kind of like me. I listened to everything, dude. When I was growing up, I was country to rock to now I listen to shit that scares people
yeah.
all the way down to yacht rock to Dolly Parton's old shit and Loretta
Yeah,
Lynn kind of stuff. Or I can listen to the nastiest Cannibal Corpse, I Come Blood all the way down to Jolene, man. It doesn't matter. And there's people like that, like me, and they do it all. God bless them. They can do it all. Keep doing it, man. Crossover genres is a good thing. People might get bashed for what they do sometimes. I say it's a good thing. It doesn't make you a wimp to want to go play some country if you're in a deathcore band. And it doesn't make you a freak to want to go play deathcore if you're in a country band. It just means you have a wide palette for music.
yeah,
That's all it is. So yeah, go out and dive down that hole yourself and see what you find in the world of crossover genres because there's a lot more than what we talked about.
yeah,
I just grabbed a small snippet of stuff that's been done and have at it.
yeah, yeah. Well, Mikey, do you feel like we wrapped up on the cross genres? Did we hit
Yeah,
a nice?
I think we explained enough what we consider cross genre to be. Whether or not it's success is up to you. But yeah, definitely go out and check your favorite band. You don't know, they might have been something before they hit, and you did not know. Like I found a couple surprises my damn self today. So go out and do that. Check a little deeper into your favorite musicians out there.
Exactly. All right, we're gonna wrap it up for this week. This is Skeet.
Mush and Mikey.
See ya.
Peace out.